All praise to you. How about you? I will shout double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, our teachers. I'm just going to bring one more lesson tonight because I'm in that spirit. Just want to bring out the characteristics of Edom, who this man is, which is the so-called white man. I'm going to bring it out in the future. This so-called Edom, which is the white man. I said so-called, which is the white man. So let's get into it. This is the book of Obadiah 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent from among the heathen. Arise she, and let us rise up against her in battle. Verse 2, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Yeah, the Lord, Yahushua made them small among the heathen. Because everybody really on the earth is people of color, except the so-called white man. And he's really red. And he is the smallest. But he called us the minority. This is verse 3. And let me just get to this too. Thou art greatly despised. Everywhere he go, try to force democracy on these other countries like Afghanistan and things like that. Ishmael really don't like that, which is the so-called Arabs. Ishmael really, all these nations really hate the white man, which is Edom. Verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Yeah, this is the so-called pride of the white man, because every war he basically fought, he won. Died that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock. He really came from the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia, whose habitation is high. He built these tall skyscrapers, things like that, these tall buildings, just to remind them of the mountains, back in the mountains in the old days. This is verse 4. Thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Who exalt thyself as the eagle? America. Germany did it. Rome, Greece. Thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars. Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. When did they set their nest among the stars? In the late 60s, when they went out of space, set up the Star Wars program, and Yahushua basically said, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So yeah, this is the time where America was reaching its low points during the late 60s. That's when America started to fall economically and things like that. Verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the great gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought out? 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. I'm gonna jump up. Matter of fact, let's continue. Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise man of Edom, and understand out of the mount of Esau? Who is the wise man of Edom? The so-called elites, the Rothschild family, the Morgan family, people like that. Verse 9. And thy mighty man, OT man, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau might be cut off by slaughter. So the so-called white man, which is Edom according to the Bible, he took everything by violence. He took the America from the Gadites and Reubenites and Issacharites, Zebulonites that was over here dwelling in America, which is the tribes from Israel. He took it by force. Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Yeah, so basically during the time of slavery, when the Spaniards conquered the so-called the northern tribe, not so-called, there is the northern tribe, and he conquered the southern kingdom. He basically took our heritage away from us and everything, hung us from trees, things like that. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, so he committed, atrocities against us. Verse 11. And that in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners enter in his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Who is the children of Judah? The so-called southern kingdom. Judah being the so-called Negro in America. You also have Benjamin and Levi. Yeah, so they basically hung us from trees, and that's the time where you had like Edomites, which is the so-called white man, sending postcards to one another. When they seen us hang from trees, they cut our genitals off, burned us, things like that. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Yeah, when we was at our Lord's, basically the so-called white man, he took everything we had, our children, everything. 14. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off. Go to the next page. Cut off those of this that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his what did remain in the day of distress. Let me see. Alright, let me go over to the next one. This is still Obadiah 15. No, this is 18. This is 18, sorry. This is Obadiah 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. Joseph is basically Ephraim and Manasseh come out of Joseph, the so-called Cubans and Puerto Ricans. I'm gonna get into it once I learn more about it. I gotta learn more about it. And the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Yahweh hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim. Ephraim being the so-called Puerto Ricans, and the fields of the Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Gilead. 20. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto the Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. 21. The Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. So I'm going to come back with part 2 in a second. So shalom.